with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, he's here. Mayor's here now.
Okay,
Arrived.
we'll have the roll call as just to meet Anthony Simonetti,
Present.
Alderman Porter McKinnon, stuck in traffic probably. Alderman Eric McPherson,
Present.
Alderman Ben Perry,
Present.
Alderman John Anglais. I'm looking for him. As soon as I find him, I'll let you know where he is. But I'm present. Alderman Chris Balmacy.
Here.
Alderman Bernie Simons.
Here.
Alderman Lorenzo Durante.
Here.
Okay, we've met our obligations thus far. We ought to get some kudos for that. The public portion, if anybody wishes to speak, raise your hand. When you're recognized, come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and let us hear what you got to say. Give the 5 minutes before we shut you off. Go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon. Jerry Bloom, 11th Street, Fairfield Avenue. Next time you're all stuck in traffic, ask yourself this. How many illegal aliens in Connecticut are on the road? Last year, I called the DMV in Wethersfield and asked them to please just give me a number as to the number of non-legal aliens in this country, giving that Connecticut's giving driver's licenses to. I was told that even though it's a freedom of information request, it would take some time and it would probably cost hundreds of dollars to come up with the figure. So next time you're all stuck in traffic, remember that. Okay. You all had a very fine photographic session right there. What was missing is the Shelton flag, which I'm yet to see up here.
Soon to come.
All right. Today was a very hot day. It's almost 90 degrees. Nonetheless, I saw what I think was a woman in a black full burqa. Very disturbing. We should ban the burqa. Again, there are no fraudulent measures being taken to protect Shelton from the fraudsters, which are roaming the country and really just pissing people off and looking to get arrested and file a lawsuit, etc. None of that has taken place, and I've been talking about it for years.
We're going to adopt Gavin Newsom's philosophy.
Yes.
No problem there.
That's coming.
I couldn't resist that one.
Another quality of life issue I brought up last month was the loud motorcycles. And last week, one drove by my house so loud, the walls were vibrating. And of course, the Riverview Park Road is still in need of paving. I brought this to your all attention 2 years ago. We're still waiting. Also, oftentimes the monthly agenda, often has a new item attached to it the next day, which really does include any time to examine it in length. I wish you would, once the monthly is printed, that should be it. And if you have any additions, it should wait till next month. All right, now, We've all seen what's been going on around the country. Last night I saw on the internet that somewhere in Australia, a news person stated that America is on the brink of civil war. And it all comes down to two diametrically opposed positions. Law and order, and those that choose to ignore it, since we all been told many, many times that no one is above the law except for the Biden family and the millions of illegal aliens they allowed in our country. So we now have a way, oh, by the way, the goal of Democrats is to, of course, eventually allow them to become US citizens. So they will almost certainly vote for Democrats. It's not any sort of a deep secret. We can do something about it, however. If you go online to the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1996, 8 USC 1357, section 287G. It allows local law enforcement to team up with ICE to assist them in rounding up the illegal aliens we have in the state. And we have
Time is up.
one last thing. We now have what appears to be a homeless encampment here in town. I pointed this out to a person and told him that I would inform Mayor Loretti about this. I called the PD 2 days in a row, and the citizen said to me, "Good luck with informing Mayor Loretti." Good day.
Okay, you never told me the location.
It's on the log, the PD log.
Okay, anyone else wishing to address?
Mayor Loretti, members of the Board of Aldermen, thank you for this opportunity to speak to you this evening. My name is Eric Vogel. I've been a resident of Shelton for 18 years. I live at 42 Blueberry Lane. I'm retired Air Force, retired Southwest Airlines. Today, I took a trip to the Plum Library, followed by a trip to the Huntington Branch Library. I wanted to see what types of displays were going on this month, hoping beyond hope that there would be a display encouraged by the U.S. Department of Education, announcing on June 2nd that this month, June, is Title IX month in honor of the 53rd anniversary of Title IX of the Educational Amendments 1972 being signed into law. June will now be dedicated to commemorating women and celebrating their struggle for and achievement of equal educational opportunity. I did not see such a display. However, I did see other displays. At the Plum Library upstairs, I saw a magnificent display for Memorial Day with some very respectful words towards our servicemen and women and some classic books on display. I thank the staff for that. I went downstairs to the children's section. I saw a display, of course, for Pride Month. Saw a number of children's books there. Speaking of two mommies, two daddies, a boy named Sparkly, and a boy named Jazz. I looked for a book called Johnny the Walrus by Matt Walsh. I did not find that book. It is not in the card catalog. Johnny the Walrus is a book which helps parents and their children, with children who are struggling with their identity. It backs them up, backs the parents up, because young people are introduced to a number of identities. So the point is for the parents to stand strong. After looking at the display, I was wondering if the city of Shelton will ever have a drag queen story hour. Hopefully not. I then proceeded to the branch library at the Huntington Library. I saw a display of books also for Pride Month. I saw one on love and resistance. I did not see one called When Sally Became Harry. by Ryan Anderson. I did not see another one that's called Why I Don't Call Myself Gay by Daniel Mattson. My point is, the books which I just mentioned are not in the library stacks, and they are important because they offer another point of view. Excuse me. Looking at the guiding principles on the City of Shelton Library website, Section A2, which comes from the American Library Association, it speaks about the freedom to read over and over. It speaks about the freedom to read, the freedom to have books that you want, the freedom to not be controlled and to not have books censored. And it speaks of pressure towards conformity. So what is the pressure towards conformity? So my point here is, in accordance with those guiding principles, it says it is in the public interest to make available the widest diversity of views. If we're going to have this type of point of view, let's have the other point of view. So all of us can read what we like to read, maybe read what we don't really want to read, but should read. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, members of the Board of Aldermen.
So a quick response to that is there is a board of library directors that oversee the activities of the library. It's in our city charter. They would be the ones that you should address these concerns with, because they can control what goes on or what does not go on.
6:30 on Tuesday, I believe, second Tuesday of the month, something like that. Thank you, Mayor.
Anybody else wishing to address the board? Hearing and seeing none, we'll close the public portion and move on to the minutes for approval. We have minutes, items number 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, and 1-4.
Move to waive the reading and approve the following meeting minutes. Board of Aldermen regular meeting, May 8th, 2025. Board of Aldermen public hearing on the budget, May 13th, 2025. Board of Aldermen public hearing on ordinances, May 27th, 2025. Board of Aldermen special meeting, May 22nd, 2025. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? One opposed.
No, it's all right.
Oh, okay. Motion passes. Item number 5-1, Finance Committee, there are no items. 5-2, Public Health and Safety Committee, there are no items. Item 5-3, Street Committee, 2 Waverly Road, easement request Stonewall. So I guess everyone saw the letter
No,
that,
we didn't see it.
that Attorney Thomas had sent, that the guy said that he was going to conform and take the wall down.
Yeah, I was gonna read the letter into the record.
I don't think you need to do that. But any event, I don't know that there's any need to take any action on this tonight. And let's see if he does. If he doesn't, then we'll be back here in July and save that letter. Okay?
Can you share that letter with the rest of us?
Well, I think everybody did get a copy.
No,
You didn't get a copy?
no.
I will go ahead and read it, Eric, then. I thought everybody got a copy.
It's addressed to the clerk of the Board of Aldermen. Dear Miss Adcox, the purpose of this letter is to withdraw my client's appeal of the notice of ordinance violation in the above captioned matter. My client will remove the wall and relocate the wall inside his property line. The property line on the survey provided to the city engineer will be staked before any work is commenced. My client has consulted with his masonry contractor, who can commence the work sometime mid-July to the end of July. The wall will be fully relocated by August 29th, 2025. Please let me know if the members of the Board of Aldermen agree to the time frame. Thank you for your attention. Very truly yours, Dominic Thomas, Senior Jr. That's the letter.
So pretty self-explanatory and
Yep.
let's keep moving. I have nothing to report. John, do you have anything to report?
I do. A couple of weeks back, a couple of months back, maybe a month back, the members of the anti-litter committee came and one of the members spoke. And they did a good job. And I want to follow up on that. The anti-litter committee seems to be taking, and I wanted to point this out to everybody, including those members of the public, who think, may be thinking otherwise, that what they're doing is they're reorganizing how they go about cleanups, anti-litter cleanups. What they're doing is they're reaching out in various neighborhoods. They came here and they asked the mayor, and they got cooperation from the mayor and the city, so that when they're doing some of the more dangerous cleanup areas, cleanup streets, Mill Street, Bells Rock Road, that they will get some assistance from the police department and the city, so to make it safe for the people that's cleaning it up. They're also reaching out to various groups throughout the city, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, other clubs and so forth, and asking them for their assistance in picking a site and taking care of keeping that site clean. Their minutes of their meeting refer you to them because they reflect pictures of the kind of things that are being cleaned up: tires, commercial garbage, things that normally shouldn't happen. But my point in this whole thing is that they're looking beyond their nose. They're looking for new ways to go about getting people involved and working with us, and to make our city look a little better. And I think that ought to be recognized and they ought to be thanked. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Well, as you know, pre-COVID, we used to have a ceremony that recognized cleanup day. We passed out awards and the auditorium was full of people, but see, you know, since COVID, the pandemic, much has changed, and a lot of that has gone by the boards. And we used to have an adopt a garden program that used to be pretty active around town. So, you know, maybe it's time to jumpstart some of this stuff. I also wanted to try to redo that parking lot down in the post office. You know, we've been talking about that for 6 months, but we gotta get somebody to lay out some ideas, and you know, some of the paving has to be done and some curbing has to be put in place, and you can do some plantings and things like that. You know, it's you know, we did it probably 15 years ago, but it's long overdue now for a rehab. Okay, moving along, legislative old items from public hearing. Item 618, the amendment of Code of Ordinances, Article 3, street excavation.
Move to approve the amendment to Code of Ordinances, Article 2, street excavations, traffic control, which is included by reference. Further, move that this ordinance be published in summary form with a full copy available for review in the office of the city town clerk. Public hearing was held on Tuesday, May 27, 2025. So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion is made and second. Any discussion?
Mayor, just a quick comment that this did come out of the street committee, where we were working with the city engineer on this, who requested these changes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7 is financial business old. There's no items. Takes us to item number 8, financial business new. Item 8.1 is June statutory refunds.
Move that the report of the tax collector relative to the refund of taxes for a total amount of $4,032.77 be approved, and that the finance director be directed to make payments in accordance with the certified list received from the tax collector, with funds to come from the statutory refunds account. So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.2 is the rescission of the actions from items 8.3, May 8, 2025 Board of Alderman meeting.
Move to rescind the action item 8.3 taken at the April 10th, 2025 Board of Alderman regular meeting to fund the lower kitchen renovations at the White Hills Firehouse in the amount of $9,716.99. Further, move to add the lower kitchen renovations at the White Hills Firehouse to the capital improvement plan with funding in the amount of $7,768.99 to come from LOSA. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes, I have a question, if I may, Your Honor.
There were technical difficulties, as I understand it, with LoSiP.
I have a question.
Yeah, just hold on. Go ahead, John.
LoSiP not approving items that were permanently installed. And the whole submission had to be redone and resubmitted to LoSiP. They got a new director up there. So we got a new bunch of rules.
And that's not all they're impacting.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, the White Hills Fire Company, it's $2,000 short from what they were gonna use for that project. Where can we help them out?
Too bad. Let them fend for themselves.
Hey,
That wasn't the exact thing I was looking for, Your Honor.
a lot of money in this project of their own money. And I was told that before the meeting.
Okay, anything else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed?
Yes, one.
Motion carries, one opposed. I'm gonna tell Jack Finn what you did. Item 8.3, the Neighborhood Assistance Act.
Move to approve the proposals for the Neighborhood Assistance Act, NAA, tax credit program as submitted and authorize the proposals to be submitted to the State of Connecticut Department of Revenue Services. 1, Shelton Economic Development Corporation Program titled Community Service, $15,000. 2, Boys and Girls Club of Lower Naugatuck Valley Program titled Homework Assistance, $50,000. 3, Junior Achievement of Greater Fairfield County, Inc. Program titled Financial Literacy and Work Readiness Programs for Shelton Youth, $75,000. 4, Housatonic Council, Boy Scouts of America program titled Summer Camp, $5,000. 5, Center Stage Theater, Inc. program titled Lighting Upgrades to Theater Spaces at Center Stage Theater, $100,000. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 8.4 is the HUD Consolidated Plan Community Development Block Grant Program.
Move to accept the City of Shelton Consolidated Plan and forward Community Development Block Grant application as presented to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Further, authorize Mayor Mark A. Loretti to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate same.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.5 is the replacement of 2 hot water storage tanks at the community center.
Move to add the replacement of 2 hot water storage tanks at the community center to the capital improvement plan with funding in the amount of $26,683.65 to come from LoSiP. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.6, the emergency repair for the chiller at Shelton High School.
Move to appropriate an amount of $3,442.96 for the emergency repair for chiller at Shelton High School with funding to come from automatic bonding pursuant to section 7.16 of the city charter.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Discussion?
Connecticut legislature, as I understand it, I've read a number of summaries of what they did at this last session. And I picked up some information that I think is going to take these smaller capital items for education. They're establishing a grant program. So I've written to the state senator, Jason Perillo, and asked him to dig this out and to get the information to us so we can share it with the Board of Education. They will not be coming, apparently, from what I understand, they're not going to be coming through us for the small stuff. They got a grant program.
Well, what do you call this? You know, I got a chuckle. They call it the emergency repair for the chiller. A $3,000, how big of an emergency can it be? The second thing the board should know is that of their $200,000 allotment, they're gonna forfeit the last $1,600 of it. So they didn't want it for the chiller. The balance was $5,000. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, this takes us to item to 8.7 is the waiver of the RFQ process for the new payroll and timekeeping system.
Move per the recommendation of the Finance Director to waive the RFP/RFQ process for the purchase of a new payroll and timekeeping system. Further, move to approve the agreement between the City of Shelton and Paylocity. Further, authorize Mayor Marque Loretti to sign any and all documents necessary to effectuate said agreement.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded. Any discussion?
What is the savings, using this payroll system versus what we have? How antique is the system we have now?
Yeah, I don't think that it represents a savings. It's just that they're not happy with the current vendor right now. And they think that we used to have this group called Paylocity before, and they didn't have a certain component that we needed, but now they have it. And so staff would like to go back to them.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And the money's in their budget, so.
We can hear you. Grace Zweig, Finance Director. They are going to give us the first 3 months free to make up for the installation costs. And it will end up giving us a savings of like $2,000 or $3,000.
Okay.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8.8 is the funding for the repair of the Nels Rock Road Dam Outlet Control Valve.
Move to appropriate an amount of $7,150 for the repair of the Nels Rock Road Dam Shelton Reservoir number 3 outlet control valve, with funding to come from automatic bonding pursuant to section 7.16 of the city charter. Further, authorize Mayor Marque Loretti to sign any and all documents necessary to effectuate said agreement. So move.
Second.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Discussion. So the valve that's on there now is the original valve that came with the installation of it. I don't know how many years ago, maybe 100, maybe a little bit more. So we are afraid to even do anything with it because if it breaks, it'll be stuck in a position that we may not want. So right now the valve is open and we will just put a new valve on the outer end of it. And that's it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Just before we would take a vote, I'm sitting here and something's going through my mind. Something's missing. Don't we have to add this to the capital improvements program? Isn't that part of the motion?
I don't think so. No, it's not part of the motion. This is actually in the category of a repair.
Yeah, but if we're gonna take the money from section 7.16 of the city charter,
It's coming from automatic bonding or LoSiP?
7.16 is automatic bonding, and I think that requires you to add it to the capital improvements program.
I don't believe it does.
Well, if it does, do we want to do
It'll be
it?
back. We're gonna be back in July. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion carries.
When do you plan to do it, Your Honor?
Other items on the agenda, so I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Would somebody like to inform Jerry Bloom that he missed the best part of the meeting?
Good night, everyone.